Wonderful to see you all here and to hear the extent of your interests. What I'll do is just carry on in the normal way. I was always taught that the way to give a talk is to say what you're going to say it, and then tell everybody what you've said. Okay? So what I'm going to be doing is talking about the historical figure of Arthur, what we know, and then go on to the myth, and then talk about some of the aspects of the Arthurian legend, such as Excalibur, the Knights of the Round Table, Merlin, and all the rest. And then I go into a slightly deeper level about Glastonbury, because Glastonbury has changed a lot over the years, and it's become a kind of New Age centre. So there's a bit of interest there, and there's a little bit of a surprise about some character that I've met who has a close connection with Glastonbury and Arthur. Okie dokie. So, here we go. King Arthur, Excalibur, Camelot, the Knights of the Round Table, Merlin, the Holy Grail, and Avalon. And there's not many parts of the world where the story isn't familiar. The story begins with the historical figure, but what I think is interesting here is the way that the myth and the reality blend. A good friend of mine, Alan Richardson, who's a writer, says this: "We must therefore try not to think of Arthur as just some dirty but tough old Romano-British warrior who lived in the 6th century, but a veritable sun god of native traditions. And somewhere in the middle of all that is the truth." Britain was almost in a golden age around the 6th century, 6th century AD, and the only trouble started when the Romans pulled out of England. They took their garrisons out to defend Rome because it was being attacked by the Goths and the Visigoths. So they left, and what happened was that the Romano-British, the people who integrated in the country, they were left almost to defend their own country. And that's where Arthur emerges, because he is the person who takes over from the last Roman general, who was called Ambrosius. And his name, Arthur, is Artorius in the Latin, and this is the interesting thing, is the paucity, the lack of information that we have about him. Even the fact that he was a king. Now, we don't even know that he was actually a king, but I'm talking here about the historical evidence. And if he did become a king, how did he become a king? Did he become a king after he had pulled the sword out of the stone, and we've all seen the film? Or did he simply be chosen from a group, a special group, and one of the ways that this was done was to have a select group of warriors within a stone circle, and there are many stone circles in England. One of them is about a 20-minute car ride from where I live, and I've actually written a book about that one because it's such an amazing sight, and it is in fact where I met my good friend Ed.